In all my videos covering Paul Klee, the music I play is by Johann Sebastian Bach, German composer from the 18th century who you might recognize for classics including R and G, Jesu Joys of Man's Desiring, among others. In terms of compositional technique, Bach is remembered for his skills in polyphonic writing, such as his inventions and fugues. This is Klee's In the Style of Bach, painted in 1919, an oil transfer drawing and watercolor painting done on chalk base applied to linen and cardboard. Positioned at the far left, almost like a clef on a musical stave, is what looks like a person playing a wind instrument with the blue crescent moon slightly above. Scattered across a pale green background with subtle hues of pink and blue are little red icons, plants, stars of different shapes, a musical symbol known as the fermata, and several more. The way these icons are positioned could imply a sort of progression, almost like a language, or even musical notation. In the style of Bach could mean a lot of things. Is this just a fancy reinterpretation of sheet music? Is this what Klee personally felt or imagined while listening to Bach? Is this a technical visualization of Bach's music, like his polyphonic paintings? What is the style of Bach to Klee? Could it have been something personal? As a European artist in the early 20th century, Klee was active in an era in which visual artists such as Picasso, Kandinsky, and many more were actively working together with composers on the stage or even the screen. Klee's contemporaries in the music world include modern music giants such as Bartók, Hindemith, the Second Viennese School, Stravinsky, and more. And yet, Klee never officially collaborated with or built close relationships with any living composers from his own time. Klee's lack of association with the contemporary music world, professional and personal, cannot be ignored. If music was so important to Klee, why didn't he interact with composers? Klee started the violin at the age of 7, studying with the then concertmaster of the orchestra of the Bern Music Association. Throughout his childhood, his parents, a music teacher and a professional singer, supported his musical activities, and it appeared as if Klee would continue to pursue music into adulthood. However, as a teenager, Klee made the decision to start a career not in music but in art. The reason? In his own words, he found the idea of going in for music creatively not particularly attractive in view of the decline in the history of musical achievement. Based on his diary entries in his early 20s, Klee clearly struggled to enjoy or identify with the music of his time. This is Klee's 1909 painting, The Pianist in Need, done in pen and watercolor, on paper, on cardboard. The striking image of the shriveled up pianist, chained to his instrument and sitting on what appears to be a chamber pot, has viewers believing this to be Klee's scathing opinion on new music. Confined, twisted, nauseating. Klee did not pursue music as his future because he did not see a future in music. Music was something of the past. Klee's inspirations were mainly two composers from the past, Bach and 18th century composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Even after deciding not to pursue music professionally, Klee continued to enjoy music in his own way. He played Bach and Mozart on his violin with his wife Lily on piano and watched concerts and operas. With Bach specifically, he studied his style and technique extensively and even incorporated his analysis of Bach's music in his Bauhaus teachings. But it would be superficial to simply imply that Klee liked older music because of nostalgia or based on conservative musical values. In a diary entry from 1917, the same one in which he declared polyphonic painting to be superior to music, Klee actually brings up Bach and Mozart in an unusual take. Polyphony understood spatially has since given way to the final movement. Thus, a quintet like in Don Giovanni is closer to us than the epic movement in Tristan. Mozart and Bach are thus more modern than the 19th century. What could be modern about composers from the past? While developing his theory of art and music, Klee was clearly already approaching polyphony as the clue. Here, Bach, master of polyphony, is no longer just an inspiration, but the key and heart of what would become Klee's artistic vision. In 1928, around 10 years later, Klee solidified this vision by declaring that what was accomplished in music before the end of the 18th century has hardly begun in the pictorial field. As a composer of art, Klee was continuing a legacy. While modern composers were creating new sounds, he took the music of the past and created a future for it through art. Perhaps from a musician's point of view, Klee could be seen as someone stuck in the past or having old taste. Bach and Mozart's music may be classic, but why not revolutionize the music scene by engaging with the music of your own time? Except, has Klee's style and method truly left no impact on the music scene? In developing a style derived not just from the past, but also through another medium, one could learn so much about music in ways that no trained musician could ever teach. How did Klee shape the future of music? What can we learn about music from Klee?